So the next topic is going to be deployments. Okay, so let's try to recap once what we have been doing from the day one. Okay, we worked in the source code management. Okay, then we worked in the build automation. Okay, now we worked in the continuous integration system. Okay, now we are entering into the deployments. Okay, so to understand the deployments, right? Okay, so you have to understand two important things. Okay, so what exactly those two are? One thing is you should know about your application type. Okay, and you should know about server. I mean, you should know something about the server. Okay, server and environment, server and outside platform. Okay, so what is exactly the platform and application type? So when it comes to application type, right, if you see in the right now industry, we are different types of applications are available. Okay, so I would categorize them into mainly two types. Okay, standalone and other is the web applications. Okay, most of the applications right now in the real world are the web applications because people wants everything online. What do you mean by online is wherever you are there, the data should be synced and it should be unique. Okay, I don't want a different data in different locations. Somebody should manage it individually. Okay, so those are comes under the web application. So you might be seeing standalone application also. You play a game in your desktop, your laptop. That's a standalone. There's no relation to some other machine and all. Okay, so we are mainly two categories: standalone and web. And there are some other applications like these are kind of applications where you can treat them like you can give example embedded applications. Okay, some chip OS and all. Okay, some operating systems. Okay, so these are some external things. Most of the application you see standalone web only. These are very few. Okay, you will be working most of the time any of these two things, and among them mostly on the web applications. My full concentration on the web application side. Okay, because the continuous deployments, delivery, and integration we mostly do it with the web applications part. Okay, so you should know something about the web application. How do we build? Okay, something about web application, nothing but the artifact type. Okay, artifact type. Okay, and how to build, okay, and where to host. Okay, where to host, nothing but you should know something about where you are going to host this application. Okay, so you should know all these details, then you can perform the deployment of the web application. Okay, now server thing is, see, when I say hosting in the first type, okay, hosting, nothing but where you want to run this application. Okay, so we need an operating system. Okay, and we need a hosting application. A hosting application, nothing but if you wanted to run a exe file, what do you need? A Windows operating system. Okay, and I don't need any software to run exe because default exe can run on my Windows. Okay, and I have a jar file. I want to run that. What do you need to run a jar file? You need a Java runtime environment. Okay, or you can call it as a JVM. Right. So you need a hosting application. Similarly, to host a web application, you need either an application server, okay, or a web server. Okay, so this is most important. So thing is, you should know about the application type and you should know about the hosting one. So the platform or the hosting application we call as the either applications or a web server in a generic terminology. Okay, so you need to first have a operating system. Okay, you need to have first an operating system. OS is mandatory. Okay, on top of OS you should have your application server. On top of that you need to deploy your application, your custom application. It's something like a stack, guys. Stack, nothing but I would say treat this as your application. I mean, this is your machine server, and this is what your operating system, and this is what your hosting application. Okay, and this is going to be your application, right? So you need to know about your server. You need to know about your first thing is your operating system. Okay, you need to know about your application server, I mean the hosting one. Okay, and finally about your application, right? So this is called a stack actually. Okay, Now, for that, we already gone to the application type. I think I already explained to you what is a web application, what is the format of a Java web application, .var format, even in Ant and Maven. Okay, so we have a raw artifact available. Okay, till there we are pretty good, build side and all. Okay, now I need to know something about the server side operating system. I think I already explained you the Linux operating system. I know pretty well about the operating system. Among these three stack, I don't know only one part is the application server or hosting container, whatever you can call it. Okay, I need to understand something about this. Okay, I know pretty much everything about my web application and all. I know operating system. I don't accept the application server. Now I'm going to show you first. Okay, what is an application server? Okay, application server and what all application servers are available, and then finally once I explain that, okay, so I need to show you the deployments. Okay, so this deployments is in a manual activity, guys. Okay, how to do this manual deployments. Okay, so I'll show you these two things. Okay, now before talking about deployments, I need to explain the application server, then only I can go to the deployment section. So for that, let's talk about the app servers. Application or app servers both are same. Okay, people call it the short name as app server. Okay, now what is an application server? Okay, now if I just try to show you something over here. Okay, see, you are running this Jenkins in some application server. Okay, and you could able to access the browser. So whatever the hosting application is there, okay, where you hosted this Jenkins application, that we call it the application server. Okay, so example, we already set up application server couple of times for Jenkins, for Gitblit and all, right? So that was Apache Tomcat. Apache Tomcat is an app server. Okay. So similarly, there are multiple app servers out there. I mean, n number of app servers in the market. WebLogic is one of them. WebSphere is one of them. Okay, and Jetty is one of them, and JBoss is one of them. Glassfish. Okay, and IIS, etc. So there are many are there. If you know any one of the applications server, learning the other is kind of like pretty easier one, because the functionalities of any application server is to serve the application. Okay, then you might be getting a doubt about then what is a web server. Okay, so actually we have a web server first in the industry, then the app server came into the picture. Okay, so what is a web service? The name itself is telling web server is nothing but which is hosted for the web. Okay, so a web server is a server where it serves, okay, static content. What do you mean by static content is? You look at this, assume this is what your web server. Okay, and these are all your machines. Okay, and you are accessing the web server here. Treat this as your web server. Okay, and people are accessing the web pages from here. Okay, if you remember the SVN, right, Bitnami SVN, we hosted one web server called Apache HTTP. This was a web server. So this can serve only the pages which are there in the server. It cannot do anything else apart from that. Okay, so that's called a static. Static nothing but HTML files, TXT files, CSS files, whatever. Okay, some files. I can give you a best example, which the standard non-compilable files. Nothing but this is not a source code file. This is a static files. Okay, whatever you see it in the web page, right, that files it will serve it. Okay, now. But this is not sufficient for us for a business applications. Okay, so business application in the sense you are trying to make an application which does some background processing. What do you mean by background processing is, suppose you wanted to fill some data in the web page and you wanted your application servers to connect to a DB, okay, and push whatever you submitted to the application server. See, this kind of task, okay, your web server cannot perform it because it doesn't have that kind of a capability. Okay, so that's where you need a help of, okay, an application container. Application container is something like an engine which runs this kind of business application. Okay, so for that, okay, you need a compilable code. Okay, okay, compilable code which is written by a developer, that code is your Java code base. Okay, so Java, your C Sharp, whatever the code which you write it, that's a compilable code, and that code you combine with your web application and you host it on the application server. Okay, and now this gives you a meaning for the application server. An app server, okay, serves static plus dynamic data. What do you mean by dynamic? Is you're performing business logic. Okay, it's something like, performing business logic is about processing your input. Okay, it processes your input connected to DB, calculating something, any logic. Okay, so it does that and it serves the static as well. Okay, so any application server, any server which serves static plus dynamic, which is called an app server. Any server which serves only the static files, which is called as a web server. An example of a web server is Apache HTTPD, Nginx. Okay, so these are all the web servers. And for application servers, what I told you in the beginning, WebLogic, these are all the applications. Okay, that's the main difference, which is useful for you. If somebody asks to given the difference between both of them, you can explain about this. Okay, now we in order to talk much about Apache web server or not, it's pretty simple. You can host and put some files there and you can access it. Okay, you can go to some documentation, you can read and you can do that. We already did for Subversion actually. Okay, we need to understand something about app server because right now 99.9% applications are app servers. Okay, so we need to understand how to set up an app server and how do we make use of it, how do we deploy applications, all those things we'll see it. Okay, so let's choose the Apache Tomcat as an example to see all those options. Okay, Apache Tomcat server. Okay, so now we'll see all of them. I mean, what are all the things we can do with Apache Tomcat? We'll see it over here. Okay, see, first thing is I need to know how to set up an app server. Okay, next I need to know how to perform deployments. Next thing is how to bring up and down the server. Okay, configuration changes. Okay, logs checking. How do you check the logs? Okay, and deployments, console access. Okay, so if I know these activities from an application server, I'm pretty good with that. Okay, same activities are applicable for any app server. Okay, it can be WebLogic, WebSphere, whatever it is. Okay, so we are trying to do all of them for Tomcat servers. Okay, let's see how to set up that. Okay, it's pretty easy guys. Apache Tomcat setup, we already did that actually. If you remember, Jenkins I hosted on the Apache Tomcat only. Okay, so let's go to the Apache Tomcat server and just check it out. Apache Tomcat. Okay, so this is what the official web page of Apache Tomcat. Can you see Tomcats 8, 7 and 7? You can download any version, guys. Click on that and it is an open source one. Okay, and a platform independent. Okay, and it's freely available. You can download it, and this is from the Apache organization. Okay, and this is there under development from 2011. Okay, so if you look at this, click on the 7, you already clicked it. So can you see Windows 32 installer? I'm trying to set up in the Windows, but if you want to set it up on the Linux, yes, you can do it. Okay, no, I mean, you don't have to worry about like, can't you set up in the Linux? No, you can set up. It's pretty easy. Setting up a Linux is much easier than the Windows. Windows, you have installer, you have to run next. But when it comes to Linux, right, you download the tar zip file, right? Okay, you just start to extract like how you extract anti-zip, maven zip, and go inside, run the bin file. That's it. Let it download. Now what I will do it guys, I'll stop my Tomcat here because we cannot run the two Tomcats on a single port in the same machine. I'm just stopping the Tomcat here. I'm just trying to download this. Let it download. It's hardly 8.5 MB. You can set up Tomcat in multiple ways. This is through installer, this is through standalone. I'm trying to set up the standalone because this is how we do it even in the Linux. What is Apache? So Control C. You can set up anywhere. I'm just choosing work folder. Put here and try to unzip it. You have a tar file. Again, unzip this one. Okay, I have Tomcat here. Can you see this directory? It's pretty easy to set up. Same thing you do it in the Linux also. Okay, so you will be seeing a bin folder. Inside the bin, you can see one file called startup.batch file. Can you see startup.batch file? Just run this. That's it. Your Tomcat is up and running. If you really want to cross check, go to your browser. Okay, localhost 80. That's it. Your Tomcat is up and running, which is a 7065. That's what you download. Right now, your Tomcat is running. This is one way of running. Earlier installation was Windows installed. It is running in the background. Okay. Now you just minimize this. Okay. Now I want to show you this directory structure, guys. Okay. So what exactly each and every directory means? Typically, bin contains startup and shutdown.sh. You can see one more file called shutdown.batch file. See, you see every file two times. One is the Linux shell, one is a batch. Nothing but same zip. You can use it in the Linux also. But only thing is, you need to call the shell script instead of the bash script. I'm just shutting down. Now can you see this? It's shut down now. Okay. Now you cannot access. So do that to shut down the things and start with things. Okay. So typically the bin contains this is what, and sometimes, okay, you may need to point to a particular Java version. Okay. So when you want to do any kind of Java version changes, because Tomcat prerequisite is going to be Java, guys. I need to put that even. Okay. So prerequisite is going to be Java must install. Otherwise, your Tomcat will not come up. Okay. So in my machine, I already have a Java. That's the reason it is coming up without any issues. Okay. So if you want, you can cross check my machine. Java is there already. Okay. And where I'm there, go to the folder. There is one file called catalina.batch file and catalina.sh is for the Linux. Try to open this. Edit. You can see this file. So in this file, you can mention your Java home in case if it is not installed in your machine and it is just somewhere with the help of these parameters. Okay. Set Java underscore home equal to in double quotes. You can provide C program files blah 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 wherever the Java is. This is one way. Okay. Setup. Right now, if you don't set up anything, it will take the default Java. If you look at the shell script, right, okay, same file will be opened like this. Only thing is, instead of set, you will be using, okay, export Java underscore home equal to wherever your Java is there, home, okay, something like, JDK 1.7 and all, okay. So this is how you need to set up and just start your Tomcat so that your Tomcat, instead of looking for the default installed Java, it looks for the Java which you set it in the catalina.sh or catalina.batch file based on your operating system. Okay. So this itself, the bin contains only these three are the important files, nothing much. Okay. Now, here I talked about how to set up the server. It's pretty easy to set it up. Okay. Now, how to bring down and bring up. Third point I covered, shutdown.sh and shutdown.batch file, startup.batch file. Okay. Now, how to perform the deployment? Okay, when it comes to the deployment point of view, you can do the deployments in two ways. One is the console deployment, okay, and you can call this the soft deployments. This one, okay, and other is going to be direct deployments. Okay, so what do you mean by console deployments? Is see, if typically this is done by developers, okay, where you don't need to do any automation and all. People can log into the Jenkins, their Tomcat. Let's try to start. It was shut down actually. Let's try to start your Tomcat. refresh this, click on manager app. Okay, we didn't set up the manager for this one. Okay, so try to cancel right now and look at the conf tomcat users.xml. In this file, you can set up the users, guys. Okay, console users especially. Go to the conf. Can you see tomcat users anywhere? Yes, here. Try to open this. Here, what you can do, you can add an account here. Whatever this guy shown here, everything is provided in the documentation. You just copy paste this link and that content, and this is what he's saying. Username is Tomcat, password is secret, make it as a simple Tomcat. Okay, and when you make some changes, right, what you're supposed to do, you shut down your Tomcat and start up again. Then only the things will reflect in your Tomcat server. So where is shutdown or bash file? This is what shutdown. Now again start up, start, right? Now it started. Now what you can do it, try to log into the manager. Now username is Tomcat, password is Tomcat. Can you see this? Now we see the manager open. Okay. Now here, what I can do it, I can do the deployments from var file to deploy here. Choose file to deploy. Okay. So I think we already worked on some of the web applications, right? So let's try to try to deploy one web application. G drive and practice online. Do we have any application here? Sample web app. Target. I just need a var file, guys. I don't have any var file. Let's try to build it here. And is not there in my machine. How come? This is a jar actually. I need a var. Okay, we have this application, right? MVN package. Right. And target, I should be able to see var. Yeah. Let's try to deploy this var. Right, it seems to be deployed successfully. Can you see control web app here? This way of deployment is called a soft deployment, or you can call it as a console deployment. Okay, why I'm calling console as a, this is what your console, the Tomcat manager call your console, and you can see this app now. This is what your app, that's it, your deployment is done. Okay, so this is how you deploy a simple web application which is having a front end. Okay, you can deploy onto an application server. Okay, now the counter is something like, if you keep refresh, right, it will just increment it. Page hits, that's it. Okay. Now, if you wanted to stop the service, you can stop it. What do you mean by stopping a service? Nothing, right? See, when you stop it, right, the application is already deployed, but it will not serve the pages. Okay, it says a 404 saying like, the application is not up, and you can start immediately if you want it. Okay, now it starts the pages. Now, what do you mean by reloading is it will redeploy the application one more time from the var which you deployed. Okay, and what do you mean by undeploy? It will completely remove it. Right? Can you see control web? It's no more now. Okay, so this way of deployment is called the console deployment, guys. Okay, you can call it as a soft deployment here. Okay, now let me show you the direct deployment. Okay, so to show you the direct deployment, okay, I just wanted to show you one more time the console deployment. When you do the deployment, right, deploy. So you might be thinking where exactly it will host it. Okay, so it will host nothing but it will copy the var file to a directory called web apps. Can you see it's copied a var file to control web app? Okay, so what do you mean by this is whenever you upload any application to the Tomcat, okay, from the console, it drops the application into the web apps folder and automatically extracts it. From the extraction folder only, it serves the pages to the end users. Okay, this is what your Tomcat nature is. Now, whatever the console is doing, if you try to do it by your own, that we call the direct deployment, second round deployment. Okay, So the thing is, we can do this with the help of some, like, command, scp command. If you're working in the Linux, if you're working in the Windows, you can just do the copy paste. That's it, nothing else. Now let me try to undeploy this. Now try to refresh. No more the war file and extracted folder. Okay. Now what I will do it. Target. Copy the var. Paste it here. Please have a look at and observe this. It will automatically extract and deploys it. Did you see this? I didn't do anything else because Tomcat is pointed to this directory and it is working on this directory only. So that's the reason it is doing the deployment. Okay. And if you come over here and try to refresh, just continue, and you can see your application again here. You don't see it yet? Just see. Control web app. Okay, I have just removed that. You do it one more time. Can you see counter web app now here? Okay, so it's working absolutely fine. Okay, this way of deployment is called a direct deployment. You don't make use of your console, you directly deploy. Okay, right now I'm just deploying from there itself within my machine, but generally your build machine, your deployment machine are completely different. So you have to copy the WAR file to the remote machine and keep it in the web apps folder. Okay, as it is the same machine, I'm just doing the control C control V, but if it is a remote Linux machine, you have to do the WinSCP or PSCP to that machine and copy that. Okay, so this is called, like, deploying a war application in your Tomcat in two ways. One is the soft deployment, one is the direct deployment base. Okay, now how to bring up, bring down, we already seen now Tomcat. Okay, now configuration changes. What kind of configuration changes which we can make it? Okay, now if you think, if you just look at this service says, I already have a Windows service installed Tomcat. Look at this. I'm just canceling this. I just killed my standalone Tomcat and trying to start this. Okay, so if you look at this Tomcat, start it one more time. Okay, this is my Windows Service Tomcat. Okay, if Windows Service Tomcat is running on 8080, now what I will do, I wanted to run my Tomcat also. Okay, go to the bin, startup.sh. Look at this, it will not run actually. It throws an error, comes out. Okay, so what exactly the error? If you wanted to know about the error, right, go to the logs and look at the important file called catalog.out. Okay, try to open this file and you just go to the end. Okay, from end you go up, you can see the error exactly. Can you see an exception here? The exception is java.net bind exception address already in use. What do you mean by address already in use? Somebody else is using the port number 8080, okay, or 8005. See, somebody else is using nothing but, see, the port is already occupied. A port is occupied by only one process, any machine. Two process or more than one process cannot bind the same port. Okay, so that's the reason my Tomcat is not coming up. Now I have a deadly requirement where I wanted to run two Tomcats in a single machine. So how to do that? So to run two Tomcats in a single machine, you can do that, okay, with the help of changing the ports. Okay, how to change the ports in the Tomcat? Come back here. That's why I'm trying to explain you the configuration part. Okay, go to the conf directory. You can find an important file called server.xml. So try to open the server.xml. In the server.xml, you can find, okay, the port numbers on which port your Tomcat is running right now. 8080, right? I wanted to run it on the 8081. Okay, and similarly, on which port your Tomcat is shutting down? Mostly the shutdown port will be 8005, guys. Yeah, this is what the shutdown port. Make it as a 8006. Okay, now save these changes. Now what I will do it, I'll try to start my Tomcat again. Look at this, it is started successfully on which port number? 8081. Now, even my Tomcat is also working without any issues. See, this is my Tomcat and this Windows Service Tomcat. Okay, so I can go to my Tomcat manager and the username password is Tomcat. Okay, and I can see counter everything, right? So this is a configuration change base. Okay, so you can do many configurations. This is one of the simple example. So you can go to the server.xml, open this file, and you can do the configuration change, like changing the port numbers and all. Okay, so this is one change. And somebody may ask you a question. See, I don't want you to deploy the applications into the web apps. Okay, I don't want to deploy it here. I want some isolated location. Isolated location, nothing but somebody is asking, like, I wanted to have a directory in the G work, something like deploy. I'll keep my war file here, which is my counter web war file. Okay. Look at this counter web war file. I'll keep it here. And your Tomcat should look for this directory and deploy this war file. Okay. So how to do this change? It's pretty simple change actually. You go to your Tomcat and you can find a configuration called app base. Can you see app base? Here the default is a web apps. Okay, whatever the Tomcat is having. Now instead of that, what I can do, I'll take this directory, I'll keep it here. That's it. Now it won't look into your Tomcat web apps, it will look into this directory. So to reflect these changes, any changes which you make it into the conf folder, right? Okay, so you have to restart your Tomcat server, otherwise it will not reflect the changes. Now just close this and start your Tomcat. Go to the bin. Right? Now look at this, it is starting a Tomcat successfully, and if it is really started properly, can you see work deploy, it is automatically extracted. So what do you mean with this is, now your Tomcat is not pointing anymore to web apps, it is pointing to work deploy. So if you want, you can cross check it, 8081, right? Look at this, you cannot see home page, you cannot see Tomcat console, nothing you can see, but you can see your application. See counter web app, you can see. The reason it is, in this location, you don't have your Tomcat manager console, or like your documentation, everything you don't have, because even those are web applications. If you really want to cross check, okay, go to the web apps. Can you see apart from counter web app, you have these many folders? So these are all your Tomcat manager, your root application, your documentation, everything is there. Okay. So right now in the work deploy, right, you don't have those things. Okay. So that's the reason it is not showing it. So you have only a counter web app, so you can see a counter web app. So this is, I mean, these kind of configurations which will make it in the Tomcat configurator. Okay. Now let me go through it one more time. Bin conf and web apps. Okay, so these three folders, now you know the importance of it. Okay, similarly there is one more folder called logs. See, we already came here in the logs, right? Catalina.out is the file which will give you what kind of issues you are facing with the system. By looking at the logs, you should be able to conclude what happened to your application server, why it was not coming up, what is the issue, everything you can see it. And in this I want to show you one more thing. If you see info servers startup zones or milliseconds, nothing but your server has been successfully started, guys. Okay, so you have to wait for this kind of information when you start your server always. Okay, so unless you keep wait for your server to display this information. Okay, and it can contain all the exceptions and all, and this is what the log file where you can debug anything and all. And apart from that, local host access. Okay, what do you mean by this is, see, this will give you from where exactly you're getting the hits actually. Okay, so right now you're getting the hits from the same machine itself, which is your own machine. See, 000 nothing but your own machine, guys. Okay, so instead let me try to access through IP. My IP address is this. Now we try to see. ignore this. Okay, now can you see this? You are getting the hits from this IP. So if you wanted to see who are all the people accessing your application server, okay, so you can, I mean the URLs also. Can you see this? Which what we are accessing? We are trying to access a counter web app, okay, and what is the response? 200 nothing but success, 404 nothing but page not found. So people can get, I mean you can see their IP address in your log file, okay, which is a localhost access log. So this is another advantage, like if somebody comes back to you saying like I'm not able to access application, you ask their IP address and search it here. If you could able to find it, you tell them you could able to access, okay. If you don't find them, you ask them to provide the IP address and all, okay. This is how you can debug if somebody gives any kind of concerns, like they're not able to access Tomcat and all. Those are two important files. Rest of them are ignorable, okay. And next, lib. Lib is a folder where you will be having a important Tomcat related library files. Okay, don't don't touch this directory at all. Just keep it as it is. Okay, how it was there. Okay, and you might be thinking that what is the specialty of this directory is. See, I can give you one good example of the usage of the lib. See, what happened? You have an application A which has a webinf folder and a lib directory and one.jar, okay, and two.jar, 10.jar, okay. Now similarly, there is one more application, webinf, okay, one.jar, okay, blah 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 blah. There are some 10 okay, Z application guys, okay. So every application is using the same one.jar, two.jar and all, okay. If multiple applications are using the same jar files, okay, so what will happen, your Tomcat tries to load your every jar file for every application, okay, so which will consume the memory and the Tomcat resources heavily. And if you logically look at this jar and every project jar are same, okay. When you see a common jars between the applications, okay, you better remove the jar from there, okay, just to deploy an application. Then you might be thinking, how come application will work if you remove it? Okay, I'm not saying to remove it from entirely. Remove it from your application and try to keep those libraries in the lib folder. Okay, when you keep it into the lib, the Tomcat will load them only once but serve it to all the applications. This is something like a global location where you can keep your library files and your Tomcat will load each and every library file. Okay, and it will load only once, so it will consume the less memory and you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so that's called loading the libraries only once and deploying them only once. You don't have to do it multiple times. Okay, but if you don't keep there and keep it with every web application, the Tomcat will try to reload every time, and it's really uh, very memory extensive operation for your Tomcat. Okay, so let's not do that. If you have a common jar, guys, if you have a single jar, you have 6.jar and you have 7.jar everywhere, there's no point in bringing them into lib. It's better you leave it in the web application itself if they are unique, okay, because they are not duplicated. So if anything is duplicated, then you go for the lib location, okay. That's called the lib specialty in the Tomcat. And make sure while doing anything in changes, don't try to delete or alter any of a single file in this folder which came default with your Tomcat, because if you try to do any changes, that will alter the state of your Tomcat. Next, these are all done, okay. Next, so temp work, these are a kind of a temporary folders where, okay, if somebody asks you a question, could you please do a clean restart of Tomcat? Okay, so what do you mean by clean restart is? See, if right now Tomcat is having very less load, only one application is there. Tomorrow you hosted some 20 applications, 20 war files, okay? And sometimes what happens, even you restart also, the application may not behave properly. In those scenarios, what you're supposed to do it, you have to perform a clean restart. So what do you mean by clean restart is, first, I'll just show you the steps here. Stop Tomcat. Okay. Second, delete logs. Delete temp. Delete work. Okay. Then finally, start Tomcat. Okay. If you could able to do all these steps, then we call it as a clean restart. Let's do the same thing. Stop Tomcat. Close this. It's nothing but stopping. Go to the Tomcat. Delete logs. Control A. Shift delete. Next. Delete temp. Delete it. Delete work. Hey, look at this. Work created some, what do you call, all this cache files. Okay. So what do you mean by clean restart is nothing but you are removing even the cookies cache of the Tomcat which stores in the Catalina temp. Okay. So that you're trying to delete it. You delete everything. Now once you delete everything, go to the bin. Just start your Tomcat. That's it. Now if you look at this, it would have created all the files again. Go to the logs. Can you see logs are already created again? And go to the work. It is created Catalina, localhost, and Contra Web App is the only app which is there right now. Okay, so everything will be recreated, and this type of starting is called clean restart. That's it. Okay, so whenever somebody asks you to perform the clean restart, do this. It will give you 100% results where things will do from the scratch. It will reload the data from the disk. Okay, and you won't be having inconsistency with the app deployment. Okay. So this is all about a simple application server Tomcat guys. Okay, how to bring down, bring up, how to deploy, how to do some few configuration changes, how to check the logs. Okay, how to perform the the what do you call the bringing down, bringing up the Tomcat. Okay, so these kind of things which you do it with the help of the applications are called Tomcat. Okay, and most of the other applications also you can find similar things. Only thing is the look and feel, the way which you operate it will be different. Okay, even other application servers you can do the console deployment, you can do the direct deployment, you can see startup start as scripts. Okay, you can see some sort of a configuration thing. Okay, everything will be there with all the servers. We have just seen in the app server called Tomcat, and if you get a chance to work on WebLogic, JBoss, JT and all, it will be same almost. Okay, only thing is you just have to look at the data structure, see the little bit of documentation of that application server. Okay, you should be able to easily understand, because the functionality point of view, the work point of view, every app server does the same job. Okay, so this is all about an app server guys. Okay, before going over the deployments, I want to talk about this so that you will get an idea about what is an app server. Okay, because whenever I'm saying deploying an application, you should immediately comes in the picture. Okay, is a standalone application? Well, if it is an application, okay, which application server you are using? Okay, which applications are nothing but, is it a Tomcat, is it a WebLogic, whatever. So if you get in this idea right, it will be really good, and we can proceed further with the deployment. I'll do one thing. So the deployments part is there, right? Actual deployment, and I'll show you the actual deployment. Okay, how to do it. I mean, we are pretty much done with the deployment, so I don't want to take this simple waterfall example. I wanted to take a proper Java front end and back end application. Okay, back end application, and how to build that. Okay, and next thing is I want to show you the deployment. Okay, and this entire deployment I'll show it manually, and the deployment contains the database deployment and app deployment. Okay, so these are all the stuff I want to show it manually. Once I showed everything manually, I want to show you the automation of the deployment. Okay, so how to automate that, right? So once you automated that, I wanted to integrate with the continuous delivery process. Okay, CD of entire app deployment. Okay, so all this stuff I wanted to walk you with the tomorrow session. Tomorrow's will be quite interesting session guys, because we'll try to integrate many things. So let's continue the same session tomorrow. Okay, I'll walk you through with the application. I'll take up a proper Java application. I'll show you the database part. Okay, I'll try to explain a few basics of database. Okay, we'll try to deploy the database, we'll try to deploy the application, okay, and I'll try to show you the automation. This automation, we do it with the help of the shell scripting, guys, okay. And to do the automation, first I need to walk you through with the shell scripting, okay, then only I can go with the entire automation stuff, okay. The prerequisite to do the automation is shell scripting, where I'll go through the shell scripting tomorrow. So once that is done, I can come to the automation, right? So tomorrow we have this part first, okay, and then later we'll have the shell scripting, then after that only the automation. This automation is one with shell scripting, okay, and one with the chef, okay.
Okay.
So
And
yeah,
mhm. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, see, the thing is you can make use of any one of it. So I'll be just covering the chef itself, okay. See, the automation can be done with the tool or it can be done with the scripting, okay.
Scripting, yeah.
I'll show it with the scripting first, okay, and I'll show it with the tool first. Mostly, like, small scale and mid scale application deployments we do the shell scripting, and complex and hybrid applications with n number of servers, okay, we do it with the help of this chef or puppet kind of tools. I'll give the explanation when I'm talking about automation, okay. It takes some time, so let me try to complete, first give an idea about what is application deployment and DB deployment, how to do it manually. Once you do that, then only you can get a picture of, like, what is the necessity of automation, okay. Then we can go ahead and do this.